Okay, welcome to another lunchtime video. Got some troubleshooting to do. Last time I tried it looks like um, I gotta restart my lab. Sometimes if things are, oh, I see, because the project closes after a while, it like times out and closes, so I gotta reopen the project. Okay, all right. So last video I encountered an issue that I tried troubleshooting, and I just had to give up. So I'm gonna spend another hour troubleshooting. I think I can figure it out. So let's uh, let's pull up the documentation or the part of the tutorial I left off on. Gotta navigate YouTube here. Sometimes YouTube makes it tricky. Okay, so this video is going to be a T-shoot of this Alembic local migration part of the tutorial. I did all of this in the last video, but it didn't work. So let's T-shoot. Now, I think a big part of the problem is that I ended up installing a different version of PostgreSQL 11.6. So things didn't exactly align the same. I noticed I had a different prompt. It was just a whole different thing. And the problem is when I'm using um, the problem for me was the installation of this. I entering the PSQL command didn't take me to this number sign prompt. It gave me a bunch of error messages that I spent a lot of time troubleshooting, and it's just not working the same. So hopefully, if I can get 11.6 on here, it will align closer to the documentation. So you can get PostGRES.app if you're on a uh, uh, Macintosh, but I have um, a Linux virtual machine here, so I can't use this because I'm not using a Mac. So the downloads page is where I'll have to go, and I went there. You can so I'm using Linux. I'm using Ubuntu. So I got all of these instructions, and I followed the instructions. And it didn't work on my instructions. Oh, okay. So here's some versions. Let's see if I've got the correct version that it's compatible with. I'm pretty sure I have Bionic 18.04, but we'll do a cat etc os releases or os release. And yeah, I've got 18.4. I don't see anything. Oh yeah, Bionic, yeah. So my version is supported. So it looks like architectures. Maybe I don't have a supported architecture. Let's see what my architecture is. So CD, C, ls pipe grep. I'm not sure how to see your system. So Ubuntu, how to look up your architecture. Okay, so as far as I can tell on the internet, this is how I check my architecture, and I don't see my architecture listed here, so I'm a little bit worried about that. Um, I was able to get a database up and running, but it was just kind of odd. Um, yeah, I'm not sure how to check my. Okay, so you can also go to the System tab. All right, this is all I get. So I'm not sure if I have the right architecture. I don't see anything matching this here, but so maybe that's the problem. But um, I don't know. I was able to get it to work, so let's try running all these commands again. But we're gonna copy and paste everything this time. We're just gonna hit copy script once we got Firefox. Um, okay, so first we gotta do HTTPS. All right. So yeah, I'm a little bit worried about that, but let's continue on here. And we don't need this here anymore. Before I do this, let me change directory into the repo just because. Okay, and I already ran this before, so oh, okay, things were fine. I think that command just modifies a file. Okay, then we've got a command here. Okay, that works. Oh, so I don't know if there's a problem here, but there's a lot of extra. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's configured multiple times. Okay, yeah, because I've run this multiple times. But anyway, okay, let's do this final command, and let's just do it without specifying the version. Looks like I'm getting version 13. I don't know. I just want to try it with the newest version. Ideally, I'd match the version, but I think it's okay to do it with the newest version. I'd rather T-shoot and learn it. If I got a T-shoot, because I installed version 11 and I still had to T-shoot, so I'd rather T-shoot on the newest version. All right, so that's going to take about 9 minutes. I got to take a quick break anyway, so I'll pause it and be back soon. Okay, I'm back. Let's check on the progress of this. So, um, okay, so we can start the database. Maybe this is the problem I had before. I never started the database. Or I did start the database. Maybe that's the problem. Before starting the database, let's not start the database yet. And let's do PSQL. Okay, so that worked. Um, Now here's where we've got a discrepancy. We've got server 11.13, but I think we're supposed to have 11.1 dot 6, 11.6. Um, so I don't know how to get 11.6. All right, but let's try, now that we've got that, let's try some instructions again. So we're going to do PSQL. Let's just try, so now I have 11 and I have 13. It looks like, oh, now I'm really confused because we can see we've got 13.4 here and we've got 11 there. So I guess I'm not sure if I'm running 11 or 13. Let's see if there's a help command to figure that out. Okay, I don't see, no. All right, well, I don't see any, oh, here we go. No, nothing. Okay, so let's just try to create the database. We're going to create one called word count underscore DB. Um, and then we'll do quit. Okay, and then we'll, in order to use our newly created database within the Flask app, we need to install a few things. So I'm pretty sure I installed all of this already. Let's take a look at the requirements.txt file. Before we do that though, let's start up the virtual environment. Okay, and now we'll look at the requirements.txt. So yep, we've got Flask, Alchemy, we've got now we've got the binary version, but that's okay. That's the version we need. And we've got Flask migrate as well. Yep. So, and then our configuration file matches that. Yep. Okay, now here's where it gets a little bit tricky because we're going to use os dot environ database underscore URL. So I don't think um, I have that. Hmm. All right. Yeah, so that's confusing. Okay, so now we've got a, but the thing is we don't have a database here. Um, I can probably access it in a browser. It'd be nice if I could. Let's see if I can. Now this is the thing that was really confusing me before because it was having three, like I didn't think you could do that. I thought you could only have two. Okay, so let's try with two. Yeah, it doesn't even work like that. So I think, and then the other thing is, it's not giving it a actual like IP address. Like if it's a URL, it has to have an IP address. So it should look like this. Um, but even then, there should be a like a password, or it should be like that. All right, so I'm not sure what's going on there. Let's just try it exactly as it appears there. Um, I don't think that's right, but we'll try it anyway. Yeah, I think it's meant to look more like what we see here, but we'll try this, and we'll try it uh, copying and pasting exactly as it shows up. Uh, I don't know why. Oh, I no, I know why. Because there's just one. Or yeah, because it shows it underneath like this. So let me do flask by example. It's the name of the learning path I'm doing right now, even though I kind of want to do some other learning paths, but we're doing this because it's an offshoot of the book I was reading. All right, and we're on this part. All right, and so here's the repo. Let's see if there's a difference in the repo. Part 2. Uh, all right, come back to that later. All right, so here we are. Yeah, I really don't think this is correct, but I think this is where the problem is that this is just not a valid database URL. It's not a valid URL at all. So, okay, so here we're going to add code to connect to the database. So um, let's just see if we can do that. Um, line by line, let's go in the code and let's see if we can connect to the database. So, yep, we go. All right, that line works. No problems there. It's a standard library. Of course, there won't be any problems there. Okay. Now, I think we're going to have a problem here because I don't have an environment variable named app settings. Oh, never mind. Okay, so here we've got our database object. Yeah, so I don't see anything going wrong. So I guess I haven't done this run yet here. So yeah, let's just keep adding the rest, the commands line by line. Make sure. I mean, they're not exactly commands, but let's keep typing out the code. So here we go. We can't import name result from models. So here's our first problem. Okay, so we're trying to import this uh, from models. So let's see if we can import models. We can't import models at all, and that's let's take a look at the models file, models.py, and then we're going to look at result and troubleshoot that. So some way, somehow, this is not a valid class. Let's use a linter, something called a Python linter, to make sure that the syntax is good. So we're going to do first we're going to move this down so we can see our cursor there, and then we're going to do Python -m, and let me see a Python linter module. Yeah, we'll do pylint, and then we'll do models.py. Hopefully I have pylint. Don't have pylint, so we'll do pip install pylint, pylint with a T, not a link. Okay, so now we've got pylint. Okay, so we've got a few problems here. Oh, for some reason they want this to come before that. I mean, we can just indulge them. It doesn't matter. And then they don't want trailing lines for some reason either. All right, let's see if that improves the code. Okay, so yep, that's fixed a lot of things. The only things remaining, we've got, we don't have any doc strings. That's fine for now. We don't have any we're missing a public method. That's okay. Um, and then our instance of SQL alchemy is missing a lot of things. So let's take a look at that. So here's SQL alchemy. Yeah, I have no idea. So I'm going to make this a lot easier on myself, and I'm going to open up Visual Studio Code. So now you can see all my source control will populate there in a bit. All my files show up with linting baked in. So if I open config.py, I've got a lot better highlighting. Um, yep, we can see that there. I've got all my changes showed up there. Um, so let me yeah, and I've got everything much better now. So activate, and then we're gonna do git commit dash m, and then say working on part 2 of the tutorial. And we'll say pre-t-shoot snapshot git push origin. Uh, okay. Okay. Oops, I forgot to add everything. Okay, so now that everything's added and pushed, my source control has been cleared out. There are no changes now. So, oh, all right, I'm not sure. All right, so let's pull up the tutorial again. Okay, and then, so we've got to run this variable here. Let's try running app.py. Or, so our problem was this models file. All right, I think the biggest problem I had was this command, python manage.py db init. Directory migrations already exists and is not empty. Let's get rid of that. The RF migrations. Oh, we got to do rm-rf. All right, and now we can run this again. Okay. And then Python manage db migrate. Ah, so we got a problem. Yeah, database word count dev does not exist. Okay, so you know what? Let's try to use a different database name. So we're going to find this word count dev in a file. So we've got it in our uh, GNS3 file here. So we'll just say GNS3 like this. Okay, so that worked. That's fine. It's a little bit different, a little bit messy, but that worked. Okay, so you'll notice your versions folder, there's a migration file. Let's check that. I do have more source control coming up, so let's look in our versions folder. Don't have a version. Oh, in migrations. Yep, versions. There we go. We've got a file. This is auto-generated by Limbic based on the model. You could generate or edit this file yourself. However, in most cases, the auto-generated file will do. Now we'll apply the upgrades to the database using the db upgrade commands. Python manage.py db upgrade. All right, so yeah, it's working. The database is now ready for us to use in our app. And I'll have to connect to a database named GNS3. I think that's okay. Yeah, so now I'm connected to the GNS3 database as user GNS3. I think that's fine. So we'll do a DT. Yep, actually now we've got everything the same that he's got. We got two public schema rows. Yep, with the same thing. So that looks fine. As long as it's working, it doesn't matter if the naming's a little bit wonky. I mean, it's important, but to have things named properly. But I think it's okay the way it is. All right, so yeah. I fixed it. Okay, I'm really glad. So I have a few more, little bit more time. I'm kind of tempted to just stop it here. Um, so uh, let's look ahead a little bit. So they're saying this word count stage. Now, I would be doing this for a different app. I would be doing this for my wet bulb app, so I would use a different name for that. I would use uh, Yeah, I would use this name here. Uh, so let me check if I've got a database set up on the staging server. So we're going to do Heroku config app-app, and we'll do it exactly as it says there. We won't have one set up, but we just want to see what that fail message looks like. Yep, so we don't have access to it um, because it doesn't exist. Okay, but you can see this one does exist, and we've got the same value for. Oops, we've got a different value because it's the production version. Okay, so here's the staging one. We've got an extra one. We've got a key. They don't have a key. That's okay. We might encounter that later. Have to deal with that. But that's going to be the end of this video. This was the troubleshooting video. So to actually move on and finish the tutorial, I want to do that in another video. I don't even have time for it in this video anyway, since this is the lunchtime video. So I'll just do one last verification that I got everything to work. Now it's not going to be the word count. If I try to connect to that, it does not exist. So I'm using a different one. It's named GNS3. But if I do the -gt, you can see I have the same information that they have, the same list of relations. If I do a -d results, I've got the same public.results table that they have. So I fixed the issue I had last time just by creating a table that was named differently. I got around some of those role and permission messages that I was getting before. All right, so that's it for this T-shoot session. Stay tuned for the next video where I finish up part 2 of this learning path.